asked if I could help with talking to her about developing the horse's top line and just helping it build it up hopefully for it to be an eventer.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you think it's important to have a good core, Rosie?
Well, just like us, we need a good core so it can stay stable in our backs. And like for them, they have to build a top line so they can support us because we're sitting on their back, on their spine.
Yes, yeah, so it is, exactly. So if they've got a good top line and a good core, that's going to stabilise their body, whether they're going to be doing jumping or dressage or whatever sport, and also then give them a long career, because that's what we want ultimately, isn't it? Is to have these horses going into their late teens and having a successful and uninjured life.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. So what we'll work on today is introducing some exercises that are going to encourage the engagement through here, through the muscle through here, then along the top line and into their neck there.
Okay.
And it's good to look at their conformation. A thoroughbred are renowned to be slightly downhill.
Yeah.
And the jobs that we want them to be off the forehand a little bit more uphill, so it's even more important. We don't just look at the neck here, we look at the muscles through here, because that's how we're going to get her uphill and off the forehand.
Okay, because sometimes with racehorses, they're often run one way, so you find that they're a little bit rigid one way and they find it easier going another way. Yeah. So just have a little feel, because but they're also like humans, they're left and right-handed. So when they're in the paddock having a little hoolie or something, they're not going to choose one day to go left rein, next day to go right rein. And in racing, they don't care if they're left lead or right lead each day, as long as they're going in a straight line and up the gallops or up along the race course. So they would choose where they feel a bit stronger, but we have to identify that so we can help even them up as much as possible. In the early stages of retraining a racehorse, to get them stronger, it's important to identify which their unevenness, I should say, and therefore do a lot of work on a straight line to try and even it up. But also you've got to, when we do these exercises, do the same on each rein. So it's because repetition is one way to really to ingrain how we want them to go muscularly. So we just got to keep doing the exercise, but keep it even. Okay, so you've almost got to get into a habit when you get on her and thinking, how many times have I gone on this rein compared to the other rein? Yeah. Have I done the same, or am I preferring a rein? Because you as a human could prefer a rein as well, not realise subconsciously you're doing more on one rein than the other. Because she's easier on one rein or straighter, you might find yourself going to that rein more. So you've really got to be conscious. You warm her up on one rein, you go to the other rein, you do the work on that rein, and you keep changing the rein, so you're never doing too much on one. Okay, you've just done some jumping, that's fine. At the end of the day, you're having fun and you're discovering a horse. We're going to talk about the strength and conditioning work, which really is important. Okay, so I'm going to start off just simply. Best thing to do for strength and conditioning work is to do it slower. Okay, so like, you know, when you do a squat, if you do it fast, you can use momentum to push yourself up if you're doing a weighted one. But if you had to do it really slowly, and I had a weight on it and come back up really, that's going to be a lot harder than if I did it quickly. Same thing with the horses here. Steadier is going to be harder for them than if you went through here fast. Okay, so we're going to start and walk, just to get her familiar with where the poles are. It will help with her mobility, coordination and awareness of her footwork, but we're also beginning getting her to start mobilizing, so coming through with her hind leg, so lifting here and lifting up here. We're going to get her a bit of suppling work before we really get that push and that power. Okay, if she gets stressed or confused by an exercise, you can always come back to walk to get her confidence back with an exercise. Okay, so it's just good to have that at the beginning. Yep, we're just walking over poles, nice and easy, and just turn around up there and come back down on the other rein. Okay, so just think about when you're coming over them, Rosie, keeping her straight, so in the middle of the poles. Okay, nice and straight in her body, and trying to keep a regular, even rhythm. You focus on the rhythm, don't worry about what her head and neck's doing, just think about a rhythm, Rosie, okay? That's all you need to do, is keep her straight and keep her rhythmical. At the moment, I've walked 3, so they would kind of be set up as canter poles, but I've just done them given a bit more distance just to see what she's like, but I'm actually going to be moving them in closer for trot poles in a second. Good, take your time. Nice, Rosie, better. Okay, better with the rhythm. They give a little walk. I'm going to put them closer to more trot poles. So that tempo that you had the second time, a little bit slower was better, gave a bit more of a chance to think about where her footwork is and push, okay? So a little bit steadier. Okay, so take your time, don't let her rush. If she rushes, half halt her, balance her, but you can use your rise. Don't necessarily go to the hand. One's going to think steady. When you're rising, slow your rise. So you engage your core and so that she can stay softer in the head and neck and more confident into the contact. Balance her with your rise, okay? Keep her straight in her head and neck. Take your time. Good, nice. Nice little bit of footwork with her coordinating herself at the beginning, which is nice to see. We're thinking about training here, not about performance competing. This is so, obviously if you were coming, we'd want that energy and that activity if you were about to go jumping or something. Right now we're thinking about strength and conditioning work, and so it's very different. We're going to come slightly underpowered, so she physically has to push and use strength rather than momentum to push her. Nice. That's okay. All right, so something different. So just slow her and we'll come again. Don't worry about what her head and neck's doing. We're focusing on the back end and her back. Good, lovely. Give her a pat. That's lovely. So I'll have a little walk now, Rosie. So for me, if I had a young horse or a new horse, is not minding that happened first time. It's what they do when they come again. Okay. How did she react from it? She went, oh, that, you know, I didn't like hitting them. So when she came around, she thought about it and she picked up a little bit more. So to me, I'd be really happy with that. She cared, she thought about it, and she used a bit more coordination and dug a little bit deeper to step and push, okay? Take your time, relax, take a breath. Good. Okay, have a little walk there.
What stage should I add more?
When you feel like you can maintain a rhythm with her, okay? And she feels soft and comfortable going through there, then add more in. Then what you could do is not necessarily add more in, have that, but then you have on a turn, some on a fan. So obviously on a fan, she's having to step a little bit more with her inside leg to come through and around, and that could start to encourage a little bit more throughness on the inside, not just over her back. We also want that kind of that feeling as well. So you could go into a fan, back straight again. But I think until you feel like you've got her straighter, I would keep it straight lines for now, okay? If you were doing it on a lunge, you obviously wouldn't have the wings that side, okay? And you have them slightly fanned. And if it was on a lunge, I wouldn't have it alternating ends up. I would just have the outside raised up and the inside lower. It'd be good to do the lunging work with her because she can learn your voice as well. So in this circumstance, you can use a little bit of your voice to steady her and stuff. And then that can relate to the aid that you're asking. So that communication is developing with the two of you as a relationship. The lunge works great. The pole works fantastic to do in the school. And then the other thing is your hacking, okay? Hacking is fantastic with the undulations, your hills, slopes, that sort of thing, because obviously when you're going up and down, what are you having to do if you're going to go downhill? Yeah. What would she have to do that so she didn't fall over?
We'll just think back a bit.
So she has to engage her core, doesn't she? She has to engage her core and engage her back end, okay? Because if you just went running down a hill, she'd fall onto her front end. So going up and down slopes is where, but giving her head and neck, Rosie, so she learns to go, oh, I need to think about balancing as I come up and down. So your hacking is a great way to get her stronger and do that conditioning work with the undulations. And you've got some lovely little slopes where you can go up and down with her. You've got some good hills that you can trot up of that I know that I used to use around here. But keep doing it. Mobilising and conditioning work in here would be good. Good to do with that. Does that sound good?